We worked with the people of Cote d'Ivoire to try and overcome the problem challenges it was then. And one of the things I found, I didn't know it until then, that this French agreement, as far as Cote d'Ivoire was concerned, it provided for the establishment of a military base in Abidjan in the context of a joint security arrangement, that this military base is charged with ensuring the security both of Cote d'Ivoire and France.
To talk to the people of Niger, but they're hosting, they're keeping President Bazoum as a hostage. I personally consider this as a terrorist act, and we cannot let this continue. We have to act. The position of Cote d'Ivoire, which has been endorsed by all of the head of states, and that we have been able to tell these putschists that their place is in the barracks.
Hello, brothers and sisters. In a shocking move, the former president of South Africa, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, has called leaders in the continent and in the diaspora to find a way to support Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to fight against neocolonialism, while exposing the secret and hidden agreement between Cote d'Ivoire and France. Here is what former President Thabo Mbeki said.
The African colonies, they imposed on them comprehensive agreements relating to many things, the military, the economy, language, culture, everything. So that rebellion against neocolonialism is to overthrow that system which French imperialism imposed on these African countries as they achieved their independence. Many years ago, we worked with the people of Cote d'Ivoire to try and overcome the problem challenges it was then. And one of the things I found, I didn't know it until then, that this French agreement, as far as Cote d'Ivoire was concerned, it provided for the establishment of a military base in Abidjan in the context of a joint security arrangement, that this military base is charged with ensuring the security both of Cote d'Ivoire and France. And the commander of that French force was authorized to intervene in Cote d'Ivoire without reference to the government of Cote d'Ivoire in any way he thought fit in order to secure the security of France and Cote d'Ivoire. So the general in charge of the French forces could walk into the television and radio stations and take over and give instructions. It was in the agreement to secure both Cote d'Ivoire and France. That's how it was put. I don't know if this military agreement is the same for the other countries. Military agreement which Senegal has just repudiated, and indeed all these other countries have just repudiated. I don't know about the other elements to those French agreements which have got to do with finance, with the economy, with language, with culture, and so on. And I'm saying these three countries in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, the soldiers, they have said this part of their task is to defeat the system of French neocolonialism. It's a critically important part of this dialogue. And what we have to do is very important in terms of the future of our continent. Very challenging. Let me tell you something about in connection with that. Once I visited one of the African countries, for Francophone, and then as we're leaving, one of the ministers in the cabinet took me to the airport. And in the car, he gave me his business card. Now, President, next time you come, please contact me so that we can have this, continue to have this very, very interesting discussion. So I took the card, put it in my pocket. I said, no, definitely, Minister, will do that. So as we're flying, I look at the card. On one side, it's got his name, Minister, and contact numbers. You flip it, it's got his name, Minister, contact numbers in Paris. So this side, it was his country. The other side was France. And that's part of the challenge we have when the soldiers say, we've got to defeat neocolonialism in our countries. This is part of what they say. You've got people in our own countries, African countries, who do that and have no sense of shame that you've got this two sorts of addresses on one business card. But I'm saying, colleagues, that that's a challenge we face in support of the rebellions in the Sahel states to defeat French neocolonialism. The question together we have got to answer is, what is it that we do to support the people of this country, of the Sahel, to take the continent forward in a very, very important way? As I was saying, Colonel from Ghana, I'm going to come back to you to say what is to be done.
Yes, that is Mr. Thabo Mbeki. Please do not skip, watch this video. And this video has brought me to bring you another video clip of President Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast when he was arguing ECOWAS to invade Sahelian countries, starting with Niger. Watch this video also.
As for his hospitality, the hospitality of the people of Nigeria. As you're aware, this is the second summit in 10 days that we have organized on Niger. And this is a critical problem we have to solve. As you're aware, ECOWAS has taken many decisions in the past, legal and factual, about coup d'etats. And the community has always condemned coup d'etats. And coup d'etats have happened in many countries in the sub-region. ECOWAS has intervened in the past in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, recently in Gambia, in Guinea-Bissau. And today we have a similar situation in Niger. I'd like to say that ECOWAS cannot accept this. This is not a matter of Nigeria against Niger, not at all. The decision that we have made today, and I hope it will be implemented immediately, is a decision of ECOWAS. All the head of states think that we have tried dialogue with the push of Niger. We have sent delegation, high personalities like former President Abu Salami Abubakar, the Sultan of Sokoto, the Emir également, former Governor Sanusi, my friend, and many others, personalities in this important country, to talk to the people of Niger. But they're hosting, they're keeping President Bazoum as a hostage. I personally consider this as a terrorist act, and we cannot let this continue. We have to act. The position of Côte d'Ivoire, which has been endorsed by all of the head of states, is that we have been able to tell these putschists that their place is in the barracks. They should go to fight the terrorists and not try to kidnap a democratically elected president. So we believe that this is for the credibility of ECOWAS. All of us are concerned and involved in this decision.
Yes, that is President Alassane Ouattara, the president of Cote d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, pushing the agenda of ECOWAS to invade Sahelian nations militarily. The agenda that failed after these countries came together and united. You may ask yourself why Cote d'Ivoire is pushing this agenda. It's because France is behind Cote d'Ivoire. And to prove that, brothers and sisters, Alassane Ouattara has extended his term. He left the constitution, he took constitutional coup, and ECOWAS still silent. No one is talking about that. So Ouattara has extended in his term to stay in power. Do you know why? After his proposal of invading Sahelian countries under France failed and his term is over, what France did is to back up Alassane Ouattara to stay in power, to extend his term in power, so that France can use Cote d'Ivoire to destabilize Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso by using Alassane Ouattara, because Ouattara is an engineer of destabilization of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So if he has to leave power, the one who will come will not accept what France is dictating to Cote d'Ivoire to destabilize Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So they have decided to keep Alassane Ouattara in power in order for France to fulfill the mission of destabilizing Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And behind him, there's France. You heard from the former president of South Africa, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, how he exposed the truth that the France general has power at any time T. So behind Ouattara, there's France general and France leadership who are pushing the agenda. And that's why you see people said Ouattara must step down, but Ouattara, because he's being backed by France, said, I will stay in power. And that staying in power is purposely in order to see that Cote d'Ivoire can be used to destabilize France, to destabilize Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Recently, you remember that a Pan-Africanist and activists of Burkina Faso was killed in Cote d'Ivoire's custody. You remember that? Somebody, Traore, was killed in Cote d'Ivoire. And you remember those who tried to overthrow President Traore also flew to Cote d'Ivoire. So Cote d'Ivoire is being used to destabilize Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And right now their mission is to take out Captain Ibrahim Traore, because Captain Traore is a threat to the global West. Why? Because he's awakening Africans. The thing that the global West don't want to hear and don't want to see. So they're using Alassane Ouattara's regime to fulfill their dreams. And that's why you see Ouattara, his term is over. He's supposed to step down to leave the power. But because the mission of destabilizing Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso is not accomplished, they said, you Ouattara, stay in power, we'll back up you, we'll support you until we fulfill the dream of destabilizing Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So young people, brothers and sisters, let us wake up. Ouattara is in power, not to serve the people of Cote d'Ivoire, to serve the interests of France. Ouattara has extended his terms not to serve the people of Cote d'Ivoire. No, it's because he wants to serve the interests of France. One thing that France right now is working is to make sure that Sahelian nations are being broken. You remember they promised President Goïta a lot of millions of money to withdraw from the alliance of Sahel states. President Goïta refused. You remember they tried to bribe leaders in Niger. Leaders refused. They tried everything to overthrow President Traore. President Traore survived more than 30 coup attempt. And recently you heard the story of coup attempt in Mali, where soldiers were bribed to take down President Goita. All in all, what they're trying to do is to destabilize these countries, because France has lost it. As a
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make Africa great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.